Welcome to another CCN satellite broadcast. My name's Ted Cunningham, the pastor of Woodland Hills Community Church in beautiful Branson, Missouri. And I'm joined today by Dr. Gary Smalley, a friend, fellow elder at Woodland Hills. We get to lead a church that's been going now for about 5 years and having a great time together. He's a great elder to have. I love having him at elders meetings.
When I first met him, he was about as low as you can get, and I was thrilled that he was going through a major trial.
I was almost fired from a church, and he was excited about that. We still have no idea why that was. But we're going to talk about that in this hour. We're going to talk about the greatest secret to life change you've learned in the last 67 years of life.
And you'll admit that what happened to you was one of the best things that ever happened to you.
And it took me about 2 years to figure it out.
Exactly. All right. I told you that.
So you're going to talk to us about what it means to hide God's Word.
Yes.
And you have a story that we're getting a lot of feedback from at the Smalley Relationship Center through your conferences and seminars that you call your water to wine story.
Well, this whole thing that I've been learning the last 5 years has so changed my life that even though I'm 67, I feel 40. And I feel that every day. I mean, I look in the mirror and see my dad, and I still think I should look like you. Yeah. So anyway, I'm so excited about it, and I get the privilege of explaining it to you today. And here's what I can promise you. You can look at your life, any area of your life that you don't really like, you wish it was different, or you see some parts of your life you're thinking, this doesn't really reflect the nature of Christ, and I've been working on it for years and years and years. I'm going to show you how you could address those areas and see not only major changes, but these changes last. And so the more I uncover this, I've got a lot more to learn, but it's amazing.
And you had health problems several years ago that kind of started this revival in your life.
I did. In fact, the history of my life for the last 10 years is that I think what I learned, let's say, started learning 15 years ago, that for me, because of who I am, I actually made too much money. Okay, that was for me. The average person could handle it, not me. I couldn't handle it. I didn't have the experience or the background. I came from a very poor home, and so I really couldn't manage it. And so it was coming in at such high volumes that I actually walked away from the rewarder, God, in order to manage the rewards. And in about 7 years of managing rewards, what I should buy, what I should give away, what I should invest. And my great skill in investment is buying high and selling low. And so, but that's really who I am. But what I learned was you don't walk away from the rewarder, because when you crave him day and night, he rewards you, which is what I was doing. And then I tried to retire. I felt disconnected with God. And then I went through a major heart attack, almost died in the woods. My cardiologist couldn't figure out why I hadn't. A year later, good news, bad news. I had, the bad news is that I had to have a kidney transplant, and my son gave me his kidney, very large kidney right here. And but the good news is that I did save a ton of money on my car insurance with Geico and while I was in the hospital. So that's the good news. But after 8 days after the kidney transplant, I got awakened by God, and I actually was reading a book, and I only read 30 pages of it, and it said that if I didn't start managing my stress, and incidentally what stress is, this is great for all of us, because my stress went down about 90% in just one night. But stress is basically the gap, whatever size the gap is, between what we expect in life and what we're actually getting in life. So you're going to have a lot of expectations in all kinds of areas: marriage, money, house you live in, there's just like thousands of them. Well, I had 4 pages of them. And so what happened to me is I got on my knees, cried out to God and said, Lord, I want to start managing my stress, because I don't want to lose any more of my organs, and I don't want to die, Lord. I got a great precious gift in my life now from my son. I've got to manage my stress. I cried out to God. I actually wrote out all my expectations in life for like 4 pages. I got on my knees, and then I began to give those expectations up to the Lord. And I laid them at the cross, and said, God, if I never get any of these things from now on, that's okay with me. I just want you. And I didn't even realize what I was actually doing was His will. I was actually waking up in the morning from then on saying, God, I am poor in spirit. I'm a beggar. I am helpless. God, I cry out to you for what you're going to give me. I don't want any more of this stuff that life has to offer, money and different things. Fine, whatever I have, God. I just want you the rest of my life. I didn't realize what was really happening to me. And He lifted me up. He said, I felt so compelled, like overwhelmed to go to Colossians 3 and read that. Because I knew in there it said, don't have any expectations from this earth, but have all your expectations from above. And I knew that verse was there. There it is, verse 2. So I memorized from 1 to 17. I went over those verses every day from morning, noon, and night. And I came alive, and I didn't even know what I was doing. And my whole life has changed, and that's what this message today is all about. So I get the privilege of teaching this.